Good evening. Welcome to the Deerwood Realty YouTube channel. I'm John Schink, managing broker and founder of Deerwood Realty in St. Louis, Missouri. We're getting to this point where you have, like, the market's going to go down, the housing market. And then you have people say that it's not going to go down. And then you have, just every day. Like, it's going to do both in my lifetime still. So then people have been making fun lately of the reasons why it's going to go down. Like, people have all kinds of ideas about it's going to go down for this reason, that reason. I've told you what I thought about stuff. I think the market's going to go down, but I don't know when. I don't know how much. I try to avoid saying the market's going to crash because I think that that's just to engender clicks, and I don't want to do that. But anyway, came across an article this morning, I believe, or maybe last night, blaming the boomers. It's the boomers' fault. They get blamed for the house prices going up, and they're getting blamed for the house prices going down. They just can't win. They refuse to fight back online, I guess, is the issue. Let's get to the article. So I got this off of Yahoo. I thought this was kind of interesting. It says, analyst Meredith Whitney is known for her call that anticipated the 2008 financial crisis. I've never done this before, and it's going to be a little weird because my screen's messed up, but I think Meredith Whitney should be known for being married to the professional wrestler John Bradshaw. That's what I think. I don't know. Oh, that was interesting. Anyway, now she's predicting that the housing market is due for some dramatic changes in 2024. Oh, really? Like, we've been going on this run for how long? And now it's going to be shocking if it changes? It says prices will go down and the supply of homes for sale will go up, she said Tuesday, reversing current dynamics that make the home buying process difficult for many Americans. So let me get this straight. The supply of homes for sale will now go up. Why? Why? The boomers? Really? The reason? A silver tsunami of baby boomers who are expected to start downsizing. What does that mean? This is fascinating. It says, citing AARP estimates, Whitney says 51% of people over the age of 50, a group that owns more than 70% of U.S. homes, are set to downsize to smaller homes that would bring more than 30 million units of housing onto the market. Now, I'm just going to put this out here. I help a lot of people sell homes. I help a lot of people buy homes. In this current market, it's so screwed up that most of the time the only stuff that's available is either divorce or a death. Okay? And the death is from somebody that's lived in the house for like 40 years. They have never done anything to it. They've never updated it. And that's what you're seeing in the marketplace now. That's the supply. And yet I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden people will stop living in their homes forever and then just dying in them. No. They're going to downsize. They're going to sell their house and they're going to move to a smaller house. Like, that's going to happen. Hard to believe. I hate to say that, but it's just hard to believe. It says, so that would be 70% of U.S. homes. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused here because I know that investors are supposed to own 25% of all the housing stock in the United States. So now we've got 70 plus 25. So only 5% of people under the age of 50 own a home in the United States. That seems off. I don't know. It just seems off to me. And then it says that would bring more than 30 million units of housing onto the market. Well, I've argued for a long time that, short-term rentals and those types of investments are probably going to go south. Probably. I'm not sure. And then that should bring supply. And then you've got these boomers that are supposed to be retiring, and that's going to, help. And then apparently we're building lots and lots of multifamily units, so that's going to bring on more supply. Problem solved, right? Here's the issue. If you own a house, do you really want to see the price go down? Ever? It says you'll see a supply-demand dynamic shift. Whitney, founder and CEO of Whitney Advisory Group, told Yahoo Finance's chief invest conference on Tuesday. She's married to a wrestler. That's pretty cool. So the reason why we're having problems right now is because we don't have enough supply of homes. And yet when the older generations, they decide to downsize, that's going to increase supply. Won't that just hurt the supply for the young people who are trying to buy starter homes? Whitney sees the shift beginning late next year into 2025 and says it's a multi-decade cycle. Now, I've heard two things. Number one, the population is crashing in the United States as far as children being born. Many, many fewer children being born right now. Almost a crisis. And now we're seeing this multi-decade cycle of older folks downsizing. I hate to say it, but like older folks dirt napping is more likely because they're not going to sell their house to downsize. They've lived in the same house 40 years. They're going to die there. Anyway, Americans are sitting on a tremendous amount of equity in their homes. It's a question of when they tap into it. Very fascinating. You're 80 years old. You've got health issues. And you've got your house is paid for and you maybe get some sort of Social Security. You're going to sell your house and do what? Go on a vacation? I mean, there's no problem with that. I have nothing wrong with it. But this idea that these people who've paid off their houses decades ago now all of a sudden want to jump in and start spending money like, crazy seems a little bit off to me. With so many older Americans sitting on all that cash, when they look to downsize, they're unlikely to be affected much by higher mortgage rates of around 8%, she said. Here's the thing. So you have all these people that are supposed to have all this money, right? And now I've seen this. Don't get me wrong. I've seen older people move into condos before and things of that nature. It's not too shocking to me. But if you're sitting on a pile of cash, you've got to sell your house, okay, to downsize. Mortgage rates are 8%. They're not at 8% right now. I think they're at like 7.5% today on a 30-year fix. Good credit. What are you doing? Like, what are you getting in a bidding war with like a starting home buyer? And if you do, won't that make the prices of the starter home go up even more? I mean, won't there be this perfect maybe 2-bedroom home with 1 bathroom on the main floor and hopefully laundry and washer and dryer? Like, aren't there 2 different groups that are going to be fighting for that? Well, who do you think is going to win? Who has the most capital at their disposal? So why wouldn't that happen? It says, I think it's rate agnostic because older people have lower mortgages, if any mortgage at all. Yeah, but they bought their houses for maybe $50,000. Do you think they're really comfortable spending $350,000 for the same house they could have bought, 40 years ago? It says, but she said there's a risk associated with that shift. There may not be enough younger buyers and sellers may just decide to sell at lower prices so they can pocket their gains. That's a very interesting thing. Okay. I do have some experience with this. A lot of times I'll be working with people and they'll say, you know what, I'm going to make like 10 times on the sale of this house. I've lived here all my life and I've got like maybe a year before I die. I don't think I'm going to fight over like $5,000. I really don't care. Which is odd. Like, it's hard to deal with as a real estate agent because you're trying to get the best deal possible for your seller, and your seller's already kind of like not in a good place. They're ready to let their things go. It says that's why prices have got to come down and be commensurate with rates. There's a mismatch here. Well, that's not rocket science. There's obviously a mismatch. Things obviously aren't setting up to be really that great in the market. I don't know what to think of that. I do believe there's a demographic shift, but at the same time, I mean, there's at least hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people streaming across the southern border, maybe even the northern border. I don't know. But those people are going to need houses too. I don't think people are going to be deported. I just don't see that happening. And in a larger sense, I hit the microphone. In a larger sense, maybe the reason why the government's just allowing these people to come over is because they know that the birth rate is so low and cratering, and they know that the demographic shift is happening, and they're trying to, maintain what has been the norm for most citizens their entire lives. I don't know. What do you think? I'll leave the comments on this morning, this afternoon, this evening. I'll leave them on forever. How about that? I don't know. It seems far-fetched. That scenario just seems kind of far-fetched. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you on the next one.